Hello. Anybody there?
Nope.
Take my glasses off. We should sit on this couch more often. It's nice.
Mm-hmm.
I really like that one.
This was nice, good.
Ginger is good for the tummy, though.
It's a Beverly Hills. Grammy got it, so she didn't.
Well, this is awkward.
Yep.
Should we write our own comment?
Nah.
We'll give it 5 more minutes.
Yeah, it's like in school when you show up and there's no teacher. And everyone makes it. They're like, all right, 15 minutes.
Yeah.
We're all gonna leave.
Yeah.
And then you never leave.
Beautiful day out today here in Denver.
Mm-hmm.
I'm turning into a news reporter.
Mm-hmm. Tell us all about it.
Well, it's simply stunning.
Was it nice?
So warm that I could wear shorts today.
I haven't been outside. Yeah, it looks okay.
We have a viewer.
Who is it? Show yourself.
Just the one.
Oh, yes. Oh, none of them.
Oh. It's chicken noodles.
Yeah, I haven't done that either.
A viewer is back.
Oh,
Oh, we got a question. Katie. Wonder who that could be. Okay, so the question reads, do you guys think a portfolio is really important? It's pretty important. If you want a job in advertising, it's pretty important.
no, I don't think so. I think you just
Let me hear more.
I think you just walk in and you just say,
Like, can I have this job,
yeah,
please?
can I work here?
Yeah.
I'm a good writer. And then the agency's like, yeah, you look legit. We'll give you a job. Don't need to show us nothing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So no, you don't need a portfolio.
I think that was like
You just need to
crank
have
call.
gusto. You
That's
need
not
to
a real
have.
question.
You need to be excited. You need to storm into the office, flip up the desk, the paperwork on the desk, show them who's boss. Any other questions?
Well, an instant job. You walk right in, you're hired. That's probably actually how it works at a lot of agencies. Just walk-
Looks count.
Yeah.
For a lot.
Mm-hmm. That's why I'm not working right now.
But in all seriousness, should we give a good answer about portfolio building and why it's important? It's the only way that agencies judge, job seekers nowadays. Maybe like 30 years ago, that was a little bit different. But now you're competing against people who work in the industry that have portfolios. You're competing against people who have gone through portfolio programs that have portfolios. So it's just one of those things. But it's kind of a good thing because you don't have to really sell yourself. Your book kind of sells for you. And then the other 5% of it is you.
Mm-hmm. That's the easiest way to get work. Is you just show what you can do. It's a way to show off every single skill you have, and so it's something to talk about when you're in an interview at an agency, and it's something to just exist on the internet as a means for people to come to you. So if they want to come find out more about you, what can you do, what are you good at, it's what your book does.
That's a good point. Everything's online now.
Billboard.
Yeah, so you can share it with anybody else, tons of people. We can share it with a ton of people. You don't even have to do the work.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Okay, what's the coolest way you've heard of someone getting their foot in the door? I don't really think of it as like a foot in the door business because, like I said, I think your portfolio really, kind of speaks for itself. But there are definitely interesting ways you can, get in touch with people. Or I think side projects are a great way to go as far as having something else to kind of round out your book that shows your interests, talents outside of just advertising.
Yeah.
What do you think?
Yeah, I know. This is always hard because you see this as a big trend nowadays. Like the guy that did the Sprite. What was it? Like
rap video?
Yeah, the rap video
Yeah.
for what was that? White and Kennedy.
I have a better example.
Yeah.
Former student, current agency professional, Amanda Berger.
Oh.
She did, her with her partner, they made those Can You Not playing cards that are all the rage right now. Have you seen those guys? That's another really good example, I think. Just like
Well-
serving them up something that's, again, like not just advertising,
Yeah.
something cool.
See, but that's different, I think, because that's like a true side project.
Yeah,
What I was thinking, like
I
with,
like reaching out.
like with the Sprite guy and White and Kennedy, like that's such a trend now. Like there was the guy in Chicago that did the donut thing, right? He did some sort of donut
Sounds great.
stunt. He showed up to an agency with a box full of donuts, and it had like his resume in it.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not a
It's-
huge fan of that kind
Yeah,
of
I
stuff.
know.
I gotta be honest with
Yeah,
you.
that's what I'm saying.
Because it
too.
can like border like on cheesy and embarrassing for you.
Yeah.
And agencies remember that sometimes, and they'll remember you for the wrong reasons.
Well, yeah, but I
So
think there's a lot
fine
of
line
pressure on people like that.
to go above
Because
and
I
beyond.
think people see that and they're like, oh, now I got to do some dumb stunt
Yeah.
to like, get in the door, get my foot in the door, and
Yeah.
yeah, I mean that's wrong. I think for a lot of reasons. I don't think it shouldn't become this thing where like you have to beg for a job
Right.
and go do this like crazy video side project to get someone's attention. You know, I understand sometimes you have to kind of rise above and set
Yeah.
yourself apart and do stuff that's cool and unique to get attention.
I-
But I think your point is better, like a side project. I think that's more interesting. It's something that can go on a book. It's great in a book. People love that. Recruiters love it. Creative directors and agencies love that because it's a chance to see what are you good at besides advertising, you know, creatively. And I think that's so important because they want to see what other skills you have because oftentimes that translates directly to what you're doing at work. I mean, it's nice to go through a book and see, all right, they've got headlines, they're a good writer, they can do this, they can do that, great. Or, you know, if you're a writer that can shoot video and you have a bunch of video on your book, people would look at that and be like, okay, great. He could contribute in another way, you know, aside from just writing a dumb billboard for, you know, a brand or something. So I think, to me, yeah, getting your foot in the door is, it's about just getting noticed. I think you get noticed with more kind of side project kind of stuff.
I agree.
That's like not advertising.
I agree. And as far as reaching out, I mean, as you guys probably know, agencies don't typically advertise job openings, especially for juniors. So I always recommend, finding a recruiter. It's easy to find people on LinkedIn nowadays, and reaching out to them directly, like get a human person, and really talk about why you want to work there. Don't just send the same email to 15 different agencies because they can smell that like a mile away. So make it feel real, make it, talk in your own voice, and just be really honest with them about, why you want to work there. Can't really go wrong with that. Okay. Where are your teachers from? All over.
Yeah.
Agencies. So we have classes here in Denver, of course. So they'll be coming from all the major agencies here: Vladimir Jones, Madwell, Cactus, Karsh. Nothing's confirmed yet, but we've talked to all of those agencies. And then
And then our biggest partner, Crispin.
yeah, and Boulder. We'll be
Okay.
holding classes in Boulder too, once a week, maybe twice a week. We'll see. So yeah, we have, a partnership with Crispin, which is really cool. So they'll definitely be getting to hang out there once a week, but really all over. This question is just,
Rob's excited.
he's just pumped.
Mm-hmm.
All right. How many projects should be in a portfolio? Doesn't matter the order. Good question.
This is a Heather question. She loves stuff like this.
Recruiters spend a very short period of time, and creative directors maybe, even less, maybe more, I don't know. But long story short, they spend a very short period of time on your portfolio, so they want to see that
Like
you
how
get
long?
it. Like 2 minutes.
Yeah, I was gonna
Maybe
say.
more if they really like you.
Yeah.
It's like dating. It's like, swipe, 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 swipe. And if you see something that's, tickles your fancy, then you maybe spend a little more time.
Yeah.
But I recommend, 6 campaigns, I think, with, pretty, equal amount of executions each. So it feels like they're all the same, it's full, in the same type of way. And the order matters a ton, not so much with an online portfolio, but they're going to, a recruiter or a creative director is always going to assume that you're putting your first and best campaign first. So that's what they're going to look at first. So that should always be, I think, the strongest piece. Maybe end on like a really high note too. So first, last, maybe second, and kind of put your like less favorite campaigns in the middle. Although everything in your portfolio should be your favorite campaign.
That's true. Why is that?
Because if you're not stoked about it and you don't think it's strong, I mean, that's going to come through in your interview. It's going to come through, you know, when you're talking about your work and then things like that. So
Yep.
you have to love everything.
Yeah. No, I think that's the biggest thing is to sell.
Yeah.
And you have to, what you're doing with your portfolio in interviews, you're selling it. You're selling yourself and your work. So if you get in there and you start to sell and it doesn't really sound like you want to be selling it or you're not that interested in it, they're going to think, well, you know, why the hell did you put this in here? Why are you here? It's going to, you know, raise kind of all sorts of questions. So it's a very important thing. I think that's why 6 is usually like a good number, because typically when you go to an ad school, you're going to do like how many campaigns do you think you do? Like 50? Like
Maybe.
it's like a crazy amount of campaign. You do so much work and you really whittle that down. So when you get down to 6, those 6 are like your absolute favorite best. So you really need to love each and every one of those, because you get into an interview and someone's like, well, tell me about this one, and you're kind of like so about it, it's not going to look
Or if they say, what's your favorite campaign? And you're like, Again, like you have to have a strong opinion about your work and yourself and have confidence. The other things just to mention are not only the order, but your thumbnails are important. I kind of like think of your webpage as like a mood board, and it needs to be interesting, like if they were to never click into anything. So I think pulling a piece of like a campaign, like a headline or some artwork or something, or illustration is kind of cooler than just putting the brand name, because this is spec work, so it doesn't really matter what brands you've worked on. But that is another important thing. I think brands in your book, there needs to be a really good variety of that type of stuff too, because you don't want to just pick one note, like one product, you know?
Yeah.
So.
And big brands that people know.
Yeah, big brands. Not just like small mom and pop shops that have like one location. So good variety of brands, good thumbnails, keep it clean.
And simple.
Simple. An about me page is pretty important too, because sometimes recruiters will look at that first just to kind of get a feel of what you're like, and then venture over to your portfolio. And side projects, put those in there too.
Mm-hmm.
All right, I think we've done that to death. It is pretty cool. Crispin is awesome. Okay. Do you teach the creative suite there, or do I need to know that before applying? Do you want to answer? There you go.
Well, yeah, I mean, it'd be nice if you knew a little bit, but you don't have to, because we're going to have technology classes to take students through that. So we're going to partner up with some people here to do Photoshop, Illustrator, InDesign, maybe some Premiere. It'd be nice to do Premiere, so all the Adobe stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you know, I mean, most people typically don't know a lot when they're coming here, so it's fine. We will help you out.
Yeah, we're kind of starting from scratch, and then even if you have portfolio pieces already, you probably will end up not using them after going through a portfolio program. So don't worry so much about your prior experience or your prior, your book as it is or anything like that.
Katie, go back to work.
Well, thank you. We designed our website, right?
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah, we did.
We stressed over it. It was a lot of sleepless nights. Not really, but yeah, we did it.
Thank you, Katie.
All right, Katie, chill out. You have a break.
Oh, look at this guy. Riley Draper.
The Drapester, the one and only. Our favorite guy in town.
This is a good question. Why should I join the school now as opposed to waiting until you guys have figured everything out? Well, see, the thing that most people won't tell you is that no one ever has anything figured out, ever. If anyone says they know what they're doing, they're lying. And that's true for everyone everywhere. So we will never have everything figured out. But Heather's freaking out. I like that, though. Because as opposed to other schools, you know, they're much bigger, they're nationally accredited. It's this whole mess, like bureaucratic stuff. And that's kind of why they've gotten a little bit older and out of touch. The curriculum is really kind of dated. They're still teaching old stuff. And so I kind of like that we don't know everything right now, because we'll as stuff changes and the technology changes and the industry changes, we can change with it. So I know Riley's kind of being a smartass and saying that, but no, I think
No, that's a fair question. And
yeah.
but to be perfectly honest with you, 5 years, I ran operations at another portfolio school for about 7 years. So I kind of learned the ropes there. Figured out what worked, what didn't work so well. So we're kind of taking what I've learned and bringing that here and making it better. So I think we got this, but yeah, it's definitely a different market, different agencies, different people.
Well, no, to answer the question seriously, even though I know it's a smart ass question, because I know Riley. No, we're ready to go. I mean, Heather's great. She did such a good job in Chicago, and we're ready to go. So you can go ahead and sign up now because we're ready to hit it. And everyone here in Denver is super stoked about it. All the agencies are pumped. We've talked to every place here in town and in Boulder. They're excited to work with us. So anyone that comes here, the town's ready to go too. The market here is absolutely ready to have new talent in here that's ready to go. So get over here. And plus,
it's gorgeous in Denver.
I was just going to say that. I know.
It's absolutely stunning.
Summertime's great. So
there's mountains galore.
For people coming in fall, it's like the perfect time because
Yeah.
because when does fall start? September 30th. That's the first day of class. That's a good time. It's still gonna be
what's it like in September?
It'll still be kind of warm.
Cool.
And then you have fall to look forward to in like a month or so after that. Yeah, it's pretty good. And then skiing after that.
Yikes. Make sure you have health insurance.
Heather doesn't want to ski.
Okay, what else you got?
So Will Harrison says, but they still care. Some established schools don't know what's going on in their classes. Yeah. What was that in reference to?
I'm not sure, but they still care. Some established schools don't know what's going on in their classes.
Yeah.
That's a good point because they hire the teachers, they kind of run, they kind of say, go ahead and run it, and they don't check in very often.
Yeah. Well, yeah, that is a fair point. We've heard that from a lot of people, and
especially even in college.
Well, yeah, that's very much true. Yeah, I mean, the nice thing about us starting off kind of small, we're really limiting class sizes. We don't want it to be too big because the smaller it is, the more we can kind of work together, and the more Heather and I can be involved on a daily basis. So we will absolutely know what's going on in our classes for sure.
Yep.
Riley sends nothing but love. We love Riley.
He's our absolute favorite.
Riley's our boy.
We'd like to adopt him if possible. Just throwing that out there.
What else is going on? How much stuff? 5. Oh, look at that. We can like comments.
Yeah, I'm gonna like it. I'm gonna like a bunch of these.
Okay.
We could ask ourselves questions, but that would be lame. Wouldn't it?
Yeah, I think it would be.
Okay, we'll skip it.
I'd rather just sit here in silence.
I've never Facebook live before. This is pretty cool.
Yeah, I haven't either.
They have a Instagram live now, Do that next.
Yeah?
Yeah.
No. I never really have anything to say.
We always have something to say.
Well, you do. I don't know. I don't really. Nothing's really going on in my life. I've just got 2 naughty kids. Well, what do you want to talk about?
We can ask them a question and they can comment with their answer.
Okay. What do you want to know?
Who do you find to be more attractive, Jesse or Heather?
Oh boy, that's an easy one.
Don't answer that. Okay. What are some ways I can build my book outside of portfolio school?
Yeah, you could build an entire book outside of portfolio school. That's what most people don't know. Is you don't have to go to an ad school. You can do everything yourself.
If you have the right partner and the right mentor. The thing is, what a portfolio, does is it gives you structure, standards, teachers who take it really seriously, they treat it just like a job. Plus all the networking and meeting people, and of course that helps out a ton. But I mean, if you can find the right people to mentor you, give it a shot. I think again, like side projects are a good way
Yeah.
to do it. That might get you noticed more so than a campaign piece. You just have to really have the drive and the resources to get it done. But
Yeah.
I guess it's possible.
No, I think it is. I mean,
I say give it a shot, see what happens,
yeah.
and go from there.
Yeah, I mean, I've done a lot of spec stuff by myself. I mean, I can Photoshop and I can write, so it's a little easier for me. So if you can do art direction and copywriting, there's really not much to stop you from just going out and just doing stuff all on your own. I mean, there's no reason you couldn't, say, just do like a quick little campaign by yourself on a brand you like at home. I mean, obviously, we're biased. We're going to say that going to an ad school is a much richer, fuller experience. You get to work with people, more one-on-one who work in the industry. You get really, really good feedback, the whole entire way. I would much prefer that rather than just going out on your own and just kind of doing stuff. But it's not to say that you couldn't do that. I think I would probably, even people who come to DAD, I would still encourage them, go out and just always be creating. I think that's the best way to stay sharp, to stay learning, is just always be creating something. I mean, for me, like when I go to work and when I was a copywriter, I'd do all that during the day. So when I go home, I wouldn't really want to write. So I would go do just art stuff. I'd do like sports design. I'd make a logo. I'd make a uniform or whatever. I love sports design. So I'd do that at home. It just keeps your skills sharp and fresh. And then vice versa. When I was an art director at an agency, I wouldn't want to go home and do Photoshop because I did it all day at work. So I'd go home and write like a TV pilot or a screenplay or something like that. So, people who would be doing this anyway, they're creative. So if you're some kind of creative, I think you should just always be creating. It doesn't have to be ad stuff. I mean, I agree with Heather. Like, I'd almost say a great way to build your book outside of a portfolio school is maybe don't worry about brand stuff like campaigns. Maybe just do like if you're an art director, do like straight up design. Do like anything, or like a sports logo or something like I did. It's not advertising related, but it's still creative. It's still keeping your skills sharp in Photoshop and whatnot.
Yeah, the only problem, that's all well and good. The only problem is part of going to an ad school, the agencies like to see that you've gone through a program like ours or another, because it kind of it proves to them also that you kind of are ready to go, like you're ready to start tomorrow because you've kind of gone through this rigorous training. It's almost like you've worked for a year already. So you're not coming in and having to learn a bunch of stuff, because there's more to it than just having a good book. You have to understand the basics of writing a TV script, the basics of writing a radio script, and things like that. And it's trickier to learn all of that on your own. So that would be the biggest downfall. Again, I think you could put together a portfolio potentially of some interesting ideas. I just don't know that you would have the full.
Well, and that brings up a good thought too, because it's not when I say go off and do different side projects to keep your skills sharp. I that's cool, but also that doesn't necessarily mean that's a book piece.
Right.
So if you did go off and do a series of say sports logos for your favorite teams, that may or may not belong in your portfolio. Because I think what Heather's essentially kind of trying to say with all of this is a bad piece in your book can really hurt you too. So yes, of course you could go out and do a campaign on your own or anything else on your own. But if you put that in your book, it's maybe not up to the standards of other people's books who went to a good ad school and they had a good kind of structure to it. It's going to stand out, especially if you're building, say, a real portfolio, through a real school and you're doing stuff on the side. There's a good chance that you put those two things together, they might not stack up. So one thing, you could tell they did on their own, did something good. And that can kind of sink you sometimes, because if someone sees say two good pieces on your book, and then they see one or two kind of big time stinkers, people would be well, what's the deal here? It's a very uneven kind of thing. It would kind of raise a lot of questions about you.
Yeah, of course. So, and it also just proves to them they came up with pretty cool things, and then that's where it starts and where it ends. That's not a good look either.
Yeah.
That's why it's better to have less than more, because if they see 6 great campaigns or 5 great campaigns, they'll probably say to themselves, well, they probably have maybe 7 or 8 great. They just didn't put them all in their book. So, yeah.
Yeah, I think generally, I guess what I would say is you could keep doing all those little things on the side, just creating stuff. And I think that just is a way to kind of stay sharp. And if something comes out of it that looks really good, that's cool. Maybe that turns into a book piece. But if not, I think that's fine, because it's still, you're just out there creating.
Practicing.
It's if a day goes by that you're not creating, it's a day you missed to make something. And whether that's something that goes in a book that you want to show off, or whether it's just something that you tried, maybe it doesn't look great, but you learned like a new thing. So like Premiere, like you want to learn Premiere, like just go out like every day, edit something and try something new, try a new effect, try a new skill or whatever within that program, and then maybe after like a month or two, maybe then you'd have something that could go in a book. But you're not gonna get there if you're not doing anything. If you're just sitting around watching Game of Thrones or something.
I don't watch Game of Thrones.
Yeah, see, I don't either. I don't have any time.
I just watch 90s sitcoms.
I'm doing stuff.
To relax myself. Okay. I'm a designer that wants to be an art director. Should I get a copywriter to help build my book with?
I don't know. I think there's a nuanced answer there. What do you think?
I have to think about it.
Yeah.
I don't know that just having a writer partner is going to enable you to be a director.
Because I think generally how it goes when you go to apply for a job, so if you say on your site you're an art director, the person looking at your book, they're going to be looking at the art direction stuff.
And they're also going to be assuming that you've brainstormed a concept, the idea.
Yeah.
Now, if you're strictly just working with a writer, it's their ideas and you're just making stuff for them, fine, but I wouldn't necessarily call it, I wouldn't call it an art director.
Yeah, well, I mean, an art director really should
Maybe.
be concepting big ideas, and yeah, generally that's with a partner. But I think if he's doing it on his own, I don't know, because I think generally just he's thinking, does he need a copywriter to kind of fill in the gaps that he couldn't do?
Right.
And I don't know if that's necessarily. I mean, if you're straight doing it on your own, no ad school, I mean, I think it's maybe fine, just because someone looking at his book, knowing he's an art director, they're going to hire him for an art director role. They're not going to go through and be like, well, who wrote this line? Who did that? I mean,
Right.
they don't care because they're looking at him to be an art director, so they're going to look at the stuff he did. I mean, it's not.
Yeah.
It might hurt in a broader sense, like if the ad maybe like it has bland copy and it's not really interesting or hitting very well. It could maybe hurt some of the campaigns. Like if it's really flashy and then it's got really bad copy, that could maybe hurt.
True. Depends on the copywriter.
Yeah. But I don't know. If you're trying to go solo and do it without an ad school, I don't know if I'd worry about it a ton. Just let them know that you wrote it so that if they think it's bad, you can just say, well, that's why I'm an art director.
Ageism.
Ooh, ageism. Well, I don't like it because I'm old.
Not that
Yeah,
old.
we're not that old. We're kind of old. Well, yeah.
Well, it fucking sucks because we're
Yeah.
going to be old one day.
Yeah.
And then what?
Well, sure. That's a very selfish way to
We
think.
can worry about it later.
Well, no, like me personally, I hate it because I would rather work with people who are older and smarter and wiser than me. And I've worked at a lot of places where maybe like CDs or ECDs above me, or just a few years older than me, and that can be awkward for a million different reasons. But I think generally, I certainly would look to people who are older and smarter than me for guidance and some leadership because they've been there and they've been through it. So in that sense, yeah, I think we should be hiring more older people at agencies. And I was reading something the other day about this where they were talking about, I don't think agencies have done this. I think this was just someone's idea, but hiring older people for more of a mentorship role and having them kind of taking them outside of the work environment, so they're not say giving feedback on work or directly involved in the process. They're kind of hovering a little bit to kind of provide just general guidance. That's kind of interesting. I mean, it would suck for the people who are they still want to be working because there's no just because you're old doesn't mean you can't work.
Yeah.
That said, I've certainly worked at a lot of agencies where old people suck because it's one thing to be old. And I think just with the older you get smarter, you get wiser, you get more experience. Something that can also happen is you get out of touch. And so for people who are old and they're old assholes who are out of touch, I've worked with a lot of people like that. That's when that becomes a problem because they just don't know what's going on in popular culture. They don't understand certain things we might be pitching. Certain ideas or concepts we're pitching are just over their head because they're not in tune with
I think
what's
it
going
depends on the
right now.
older person. Like some people really like want to learn, can keep
Yeah.
learning and keep growing and staying in touch with what's going on in technology and things like that. So there's people like that, and there's people like what you're describing.
Yeah, but I don't know. I think it's a small percentage
Yeah.
of people who are old assholes. I haven't worked with a lot. I think generally, the older you get, the smarter you are. And this is an industry, especially where you see a lot of things like we're kind of repeating the same problems that people have been through before. And it's an industry where you make a misstep, and it could be like a big misstep. It could cost people brands millions of dollars. It could get people fired. It could get like social media all upset if you do something really horrible. And so having someone there at the agency who's maybe been through this before to kind of step in and be like, hey, idiots, you're doing something wrong here. I've seen this before. Let me help out. I think that's a very valuable thing to have.
I think he had also asked could the school do
What
something
can we
to
do to
help
help?
that?
Boy, I don't know. Off the top of my head. I mean, we could help it like 20, 30 years in the future when
Well,
we start,
Yeah.
when our graduates get old.
Well, when we're hiring, people that have been around the block.
Yeah.
And like know their shit. So, I think what's good about that is, you'll learn a ton from them, but then also they'll learn a lot from you. So it kind of benefits both parties in a way. So maybe that's a part of it. I don't know, that's something, right? We'll give them a job.
Mm-hmm.
We'll give them some cash.
No, I think that's a fair point.
Yeah.
Yeah, Jessica says partnerships can help you brainstorm better ideas. Go copywriters. Yeah.
Of course,
Yeah,
yeah.
I think she's probably talking about Rob, who wants to go
Yeah.
solo a little bit. No, I think, I mean, generally that is a lot better to have an art director and a copywriter concept together.
Or just two people in general. Like, I feel like we do
Yeah.
such a better job of coming up with new ideas for the school and stuff together than we would separately. So having just another person to bounce ideas with in general is good. So yeah.
Yeah, no, so in that sense, I would completely agree. If you can concept with someone else, but, if it comes to it where, you have to maybe write some of the copy yourself, I don't know. I think I'm fine. I don't know if I would care. If I was hiring, I think I would just understand. I'm hiring this guy to be an art director. I don't really give a shit about the copy. I know. It's a little nuanced.
We'll go back to that.
Yeah, Riley, that's what, I can't remember where I read that thing. It might have been an Adweek thing, but I think that's what they were saying, to have veteran ad people be more like coaches rather than active like players and participants. I don't know how I feel about it. I just read it the other day, but I guess it's interesting. I wouldn't want to say to like veteran people like, well, no, you can't work anymore, just like coach, because some people might want to work. I could see you wanting to coach though. I would probably find that more fun personally.
Yeah.
Because at a certain point, you kind of get over the work. I'm kind of over the work a little bit. I kind of would rather coach. I think that'd be more fun, maybe. So Seth wants to know, where's the best place to find mentors?
I mean,
Well-
really, you can reach out. Well, Make Ads With Me, for
Yeah,
example,
that was
has
my
a whole
first
list
thought,
of people
yeah.
who are willing to help you out, depending on like their availability and stuff. But yeah, outside of Make Ads With Me, which is a great resource, you can for sure just kind of reach out to people in the industry that that inspire you. Maybe not like an ECD because they're probably going to be pretty busy, but if you're going through a CD, yeah. So look at agency work and figure out what you like and figure out what portfolios you kind of that inspire you, and then just reach out to them and say like, hey, I'm getting into this business. Love to have a chat with you. Don't necessarily ask them for coffee because they might be too busy for a coffee, but I'm sure they would hop on a quick call with you. If they don't, they're a jerk.
Yes.
I talk to everybody.
Some people are jerks, but I think for the most part, people don't mind helping out.
So just cold call, like just email them and be honest about, what you like about their stuff and, you just need some help. A lot of people are really good about that.
Yeah.
No, I enjoy it. They enjoy it.
I think so.
Because a lot of ad people have like huge egos, so they enjoy like that part of it. Probably telling you how it works and how they can help and stuff. Makes them feel good about themselves.
Can I tell a story? I kind of have a story about this. So I worked at a place called Integer in Chicago. There's one here in Denver too. And it was Miller Coors was our big account. And that was all below the line work. So it was like shopper stuff and like grocery stores, convenience stores, stuff like that. And one of our partner agencies was a place called Cavalry, and they did all the TV spots. They did all the, it's called above the line stuff. So they did all the big national TV campaigns, billboards, kind of like the big stuff. And so I worked at the smaller shop below the line. And and this was like one of my first jobs, so I didn't really know how all this worked. So I saw Cavalry, what they were doing. I thought, oh, well, I want to do that. Because I went to film school, and I like more video, like broadcast. I like to shoot stuff and edit. So I thought, well, I'd rather do TV spots. So I just cold emailed a guy. I got on LinkedIn, found a CD at Cavalry, and said, hey, I'm actually working at Integer. We're one of your partner agencies. Love the work you do. I'd love to do this one day. Like, do you have any advice on how to switch over, go to an above the line agency? If you guys are hiring, I'd love to work there. And he was nice, and he gave me some quick feedback on my book. He said, well, your book's not quite, where we would want yet. And he's like, maybe go off, do some things, come back, hit me up in like a year. So I came back after doing some more stuff in my book, came back and hit him up and said, hey, I'm still, I'd love to work there. And he's like, well, yeah, let's go have lunch. So we went to have lunch and looked at my book, had some new stuff in there. He liked it, and I got hired.
That's a good point. Don't reach out to important people looking for a job if your book is not ready, but reach out to them, asking for some help. And then later on, when your book is ready, then you can you'll have that person that you can go back to and trust and knows you already. And if they can't, hire you or help, they can for sure refer you to somebody. And you now have that person. So.
Yeah, I think just hitting people up on LinkedIn is absolutely like the best thing to do.
Yeah.
And it's always a good, I would try and do like people that you like or like agencies that you like.
Work that you like.
Because then you can say like, well, I'd like this thing you did.
Yeah.
And
It's a talking point, and it'll kind of excite you more about the industry too once you start, getting a better feel of what's out there and what you like, sort of thing.
How do you get a job with that
Well,
experience?
I guess it depends on
portfolio.
what type of job. What type of? I guess you assume a creative job. I'm assuming a creative job.
Yeah. Well, portfolio. That's how, because no one
Yeah.
has experience. You go to an ad school and you get a portfolio, and then you go in and you get a job. It's as simple as that.
Right. Because nobody has experience.
Yeah.
Unless you have experience.
Yeah, but we kind of touched on that earlier. That's why a portfolio exists. It's for people that are young and they just got out of college and they've never worked in the industry. So how do you show people you can work in the industry by having a good portfolio?
And if you do somehow, land in, an internship at an agency, that, you're probably not going to be hired, but it's a good learning experience. It kind of will either encourage you to want to do like a portfolio program, or you'll say, I don't like advertising, it's not for me. So I think that internships are really valuable as a tryout. But again, it's really hard to even, get an internship without a portfolio these days, which kind of sucks.
Unless you're an account
How do you know that you like it? Yeah, you could always get an internship within some other department or whatever, but it's kind of like a time waster in my mind. But and have a point of view. Like, so if there is an internship out there at some agency that you love, don't apply for like every single internship, copywriter, art direction strategist. Because you're gonna be like, what is this person? What do they really want to do? So like, make a decision on that. Pursue that. Don't just assume that because you're working in an agency that you're gonna be able to like switch over or something like that. Because it's not how it works. Makes sense.
Yeah, I definitely wouldn't do that.
Account? You want to account?
No.
I'm gonna be account person.
Who wants to work in account? Seth, putting his hands up.
Well,
What made you guys want to start Denver Ad School?
it's fun. We want to help, and we don't want it to be $1 million because a lot of schools are super expensive, which leads to a lot of exclusivity. Said that word weird in the industry, which sucks. So you're better at answering this question than I am. I think it's fun.
It is fun. No, the time was right. Like Heather said, all the other schools are super expensive. They're too long. I don't think people are getting out of them, what they're putting in tuition-wise. It's just, it's incredible how expensive those places are. And the time was right for us. We were at a place in our lives where this is something we knew we wanted to do. Heather had been doing this for already quite some time in Chicago. Did a great job at it. I've been teaching a little bit in Chicago, and I'd come back. I'm from Denver, and the market here is growing a lot, and it's a really interesting place right now. Very creative, kind of Wild West.
Yeah.
A lot of people doing some different kind of stuff out here. There's no rules out here. It's wild. Do whatever the hell you want. So it's a good location for it too. And it's obviously a great place to live too. So
Yeah, there's only a handful of portfolio schools that we could all use a better alternative.
yeah,
You know, and yeah, like you said, this market's great. Why not?
yeah, why not?
Let's do it. Yeah,
Oh,
we sort of-
Riley. Yeah, we
sort-
talked about this.
You missed it.
Riley, you
We
missed
already
it.
answered that question.
You missed it,
I'll have
Riley.
to go back. Is this like get recorded and you can go back and read it, like watch it?
Yeah, I believe so.
That's
So Riley's asking about gimmicks to try and get noticed hired by an agency. Getting a face tattoo of an agency's logo.
that probably would work because
Yeah,
that's
that
like
would work.
huge commitment. We said earlier. I mean, there's a fine line between like cheesy and like cool, and if it goes over badly, if it goes over poorly, then you'll be remembered for your silly gimmick and not for your portfolio. You know, the portfolio should
Yeah.
be the talking. So there's other things you can do to kind of jazz it up, but again, like things can really border on cheesy if you do the wrong thing.
Yeah,
And desperate. It can really border on desperate.
yeah. Well, yeah, I have like an ethical problem with it. I brought up the example of like the guy that did the Sprite rap video for Wyden Kennedy. And there's like a bunch of people like that. Like they do something viral, it gets an agency spy or whatever, they get some press off of it, and then they get hired. And for me, I hate that because it's like, is that what it's come to now? Like to get a job, you got to go out and do some ridiculous viral video and get press and then get hired. Like I think that's really
I
stupid.
also don't know if it's long lasting. I don't know that that's going to secure
Yeah.
your, like you might get that job, but I know a lot of people who've done things like that, gotten the job and then got let go like after 6 months because they just weren't, right for the position.
Yeah.
So I don't know if it's the greatest thing to get hired based on that.
Yeah, I mean,
Um,
I get it. I get the allure of it because people know this is a creative industry. So, okay, I got to stand out.
Yeah.
I got to do something that's unique and will get me attention. I mean, that's fine.
I've seen so much. Everything I see is lame. I see a lot more
Yeah,
lame than
It does-
cool.
I know, yeah.
Like we were talking earlier about like personal projects and how something like that is more interesting than a talking point. And a gimmick is just a gimmick. It's not like long lasting,
Yeah, I mean, that's a good point. They're kind of the same thing, really. Because like the rap video, say, for Wyden Kennedy, that could have just been a side project. He could have just done like a bunch
Yeah.
of rap videos
Like,
for
yeah.
brands. I guess the problem I have with it is when you do like a singular gimmick thing and it's directed at one agency.
Yeah.
I mean, again, I get why they do it and it's fine, and it certainly worked out for that guy. He got hired. I hate like that people have to hustle to get all this.
But again, I see so much cheesy stuff
Yeah.
that it's just.
Well,
gotta
yeah.
be really. It's gotta be just right.
Well, no, you're right. Because think about like, so there's the Wyden guy who did the Sprite thing, and then think of like the hundreds of other people that did something like you're saying. It's even worse. It's like it's cheesy. It's dumb.
It's even like how the About Me pages now are just so jokey.
Yeah.
It's like it's like been done to death. It's like let's think of something new. I don't know.
Well, yeah,
I
because
think it's kind of like
you're
over.
right. If it looks bad and it's cheesy and you're not going to get hired
Yeah.
because that's
It'll actually.
how it reflects on
Yeah.
reflects on you creatively.
Yeah.
It's a mess.
It is a
It's
mess.
a mess out there. Yeah, I thought that RJ
Oh yeah.
tattoo.
Yeah.
I thought that was a thing.
I'll have to look into that.
I don't know.
Maybe it was just a temporary tattoo.
It had to have been. Nothing is real in advertising. It's all fake. Everything. There's no way that was real.
But that makes it so lame. Like I prefer
I know,
it to
yeah.
be real.
Yeah.
Do it.
Yeah,
Go all in.
Yeah.
But I get why he's asking that question because nowadays it's like, do you ever? I mean, yeah, there's campaigns out there. But a lot of stuff is like stunts and like
Yeah.
buzzy things, like just like one-off things, and that's kind of like popular right now. So
Yeah. Yeah, I guess for me it just comes down to integrity.
Yeah.
So like if the thing you're doing has like a good purpose, it's fine. I guess I hate the pressure that people feel. Like they feel like, oh, I
Yeah.
have to do now a big budget rap video to get hired. And I just think that's lame. Like you shouldn't have to really do anything crazy to get hired. Just do good work. You have a good book with good stuff on it. You go in, you interview well, and you get hired. I mean, the fact now that we have to jump through hoops to get hired at an agency, I hate it. It's not right. We're all just trying to work. Lay off. What are the best portfolio building websites? Like what? Like Make Ads With Me? Like that?
Like to actually build a site, like to build a portfolio, or resources.
Oh, I bet that's it.
Make Ads With Me is great for resources and for
Is that-
matching people and for getting
Jessica,
help
tell us what
with
you mean.
building a book. So I don't know. Yeah, I need more elaboration.
I wonder if she's asking like Squarespace or like a place to host your
Oh.
site. Is that what you mean? I'm gonna sit here and wait for Jessica's
We'll come back
reply.
to Jessica. We're gonna come back to that.
Yeah.
Okay. What do you not want to see in my book?
Ooh.
Well, I don't like when websites have too much. Unless you're a designer, I don't like when websites have a ton of personality. I feel like, again, the work should really speak for itself. I don't know if you totally agree with me on this, but I like it when a site is like super clean. It doesn't have to be like the same Squarespace site you've seen like over and over again with student portfolios, but I just kind of like the work to speak for itself. And if there's like something jazzy going on and like it's hard to find stuff, like
Yeah.
again, these recruiters have really, they're on your book for 2 minutes or maybe more, but like they're on it, they're in and out very quickly. So if it's a struggle to find what they're looking for, that's always really annoying, I think. So that's that. But what
Yeah,
about as far
I think
as
then, like-
actual brand stuff?
Like once you get inside then like a campaign, I would say I don't want to see like a lot of words. I don't want to see like an entire like case study typed out.
Oh, that's a good point. Yeah.
I mean, and no one else does. It's not just me. I mean, no one wants to see that. I mean, Heather touched on this earlier. That recruiters will spend like 1 to 2 minutes on a site, and really like to just like glance at like the homepage and look at all your stuff. It's like 30 seconds. Like they're just like quickly going through something that catches their eye. They'll click on it. So once they're inside, if there's like paragraphs and paragraphs of setup.
I don't
setup,
even read it, and this is
Yeah.
my profession. Like I can't handle it. Like it's so boring
Yeah.
to me, and I also don't like when there's always a case study. It's a video,
Yeah,
kind of like
yeah.
getting things started. I just go right past. I don't even look at it
Yeah.
until later or never.
Yeah,
So I want to like.
For me, I'd rather see. I want to know
Yeah.
like what's the idea.
Yeah.
I like books that set up like the first thing you see is like a 1 to 2 sentence setup. It just tells you quickly like
If it's not clear,
like
yeah.
the creative concept and just the insight. Whatever, just something to set this up. And then get into like key visuals, whether it's print ads or whatever, wherever your key visuals are. And then if you scroll down like at some point in the campaign, if you have like a couple like spots or any videos, I think that's fine.
Yeah.
I just hate leading with a video because like I can't imagine recruiters would either. Like they want to sit and click and watch a video.
Yeah, and I also
Like we just want to know what
yeah.
the idea is. We want to see like what the campaign is first.
Yeah, my biggest pet peeve is bus shelter ads and billboard ads that have no reason to be on a bus shelter or a billboard. It's just like, why did you put it on there? Well, I didn't know where else to put it on. I'm like, that is not a good reason. That is not a good story. So every single, placement needs to make sense. Every execution needs to kind of come back to the big idea. And again, like what I said earlier, everything should have equal weight, execution-wise. So yeah, I don't like to look at one campaign and it's like 2 pieces, and then the next is like 3, and the next is like 8.
Yeah.
I don't know. It just doesn't seem.
And then I don't know what else. I
Not.
probably like not a lot of stuff. Like I would kind of keep it limited to like here are the campaigns. Here's an about me page.
Yeah.
I don't mind people that like will do like here are like drawings or here.
I'm a little on the fence about that.
Yeah.
This is like a big pet peeve of mine with Jesse's portfolio. Actually, does this. It's like I am a art director. I am a designer. I'm a photographer, and literally they just got out of school. It's like you're not all those things. Chill out. You're an art director, but if you want to have some design pieces in your portfolio, fine. Unless you're like shooting pics all day long and you're like amazing at it, maybe you have a photography section. But if you're a true photographer, you should have a separate website for that anyway, because people are coming to your book want to see campaigns. But if you're an art director, of course that's it's great to be a good photographer. That's going to be a huge thing. But I don't know, I'm weird about having all these extra like links to like this to that. You know what I mean? I think it should be kind of simple, like really just work, maybe like a side project. About me page, and again, like don't go like with the about me pages. You can really mess that up too if you say the wrong thing or go on or ramble or whatever. So keep those pretty short. it really is just a chance for them to kind of get to know you outside of your work and what you're into and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And I do like to see like links to like your Instagram and
Well, that's what I was gonna say.
social stuff too, because then I get a really good feel
Yeah,
what
because
you're into. and
I
stuff.
wouldn't do like a lot of those separate pages, like photographs, drawing, like all that stuff. Like I would keep that to a very bare minimum, and then I would do what Heather said. Instead of doing that, link to like your Instagram. If you're a designer, art director, do like your Dribble account, do a Behance account. Any of these like other kind of social media things for creatives.
Because we'll see your photography skills through your
Show that there,
Instagram
because then like
yeah.
if people want to, like they know, click on an Instagram link. Okay, I'm gonna check out their photos, and like Dribble's a good place to show off like just other things that aren't campaigns. I would just really try and keep your portfolio site as straightforward as possible, so people can see the work they want to see that's relevant to what they're looking for, and then give them opportunities to go and explore your other creative skills elsewhere on the internet.
God, that kombucha is really like giving up.
Is it? Sorry.
Yeah. I need some gum. I
Okay.
can't read on my glasses. Can I have some gum?
Yep.
Okay, what do you know? Have you guys ever? We wanted to go, couldn't make it.
Yeah, couldn't make it this year, Riley.
We'll be on the yacht next year.
I'll get that.
We had a prior engagement,
No, I think Cannes kind of stupid.
but I would like to be on the yacht.
I guess. Would you?
I love a boat.
I'd get seasick. I wouldn't enjoy it.
Maybe next year, Riley. Maybe next year.
Actually,
Oh, is it a bunch of BS? You said you think it is. Yeah.
That's funny he brought that up. There was just an
Article.
Adweek,
Whatever
Adweek
happened to
article
that
about
article?
this. I talked to Adweek about this the other day. I don't know when that article's going up.
Yeah. Let's check it out.
Yeah, it was an interesting premise that it was from Eric Oster at Adweek, and the article's about how younger creatives are kind of over ad awards. And he was kind of like, he kind of positioned it like, well, I get the sense there's a growing trend that younger creatives don't care as much about awards. And I was kind of like, well, yeah, like no one's really ever cared about it. I was kind of surprised he thought it was a trend, because I've worked like 10 years in the business now. I've worked at most places that no one really cared. In fact, a lot of agencies I worked at never even really submitted anything. It's just never really been too much of a consideration during their day. So I kind of think the whole thing's stupid.
Well,
I mean, I
it
get
also
it.
sucks for people who don't have awards that are higher level or whatever, and sometimes prevents them from getting a job.
Yeah.
Because nowadays, recruiters and stuff, that's like a requirement. You have to have a lion or something
Yeah.
along those lines. And that's kind of a bummer for people who do the real work all day long and don't get to submit stuff to an award show they can, and then so the point of how are they gonna get that award, So that's kind of a tough situation too.
Yeah, I think awards really only matter for like CDs. Sometimes depends on the agency you're at. It really typically only matters for like ECDs, like the big people, because that's how they get hired and fired. Like they get hired, and like sometimes even like within their contracts, it's like win X amount of awards. And
Yeah.
so sometimes you can kind of tell people that have stuff like that in the contract, because then they come in and they start saying like, okay, we need to submit X amount of things to this show and the show and the show, because they're just there to win awards. Because if they don't win awards and that doesn't bring attention to the agency, then they get fired. It's like that's kind of like, I mean, at a certain point, at a certain different agencies, usually bigger ones, that's kind of all they really do, because they don't really have their hand in like day-to-day work. This is probably even above like an ECD, like a big shop, like whatever the hell it would be, like a CCO or something huge. Oftentimes they don't have their hands really truly in the work. They're just there to bring more attention and awards to the shop. So in that sense, it's important to them, but to us below that, like we don't care. Like we don't get let go if we don't win an award. I mean, we get let go if we're not doing good work or we're an asshole. I mean, there's a million other things. So like to me, an award would never factor into the work I do. I just show up and try and do the best work I can because it's fun and I enjoy it. And just an award doesn't matter. I don't care.
Maybe if we had some awards, it would matter.
I
I feel
guess.
like awards are very.
I know. I
important.
thought about that too. Like because when people read that article on Adweek, they're going to be like, well, this is just a bunch of young people complaining that don't have awards.
Yeah.
Like, I guess, but I don't know. Even if I won,
None of those people in that article are allowed to ever put that they got an award
yeah.
on their resume, or else they're liars. Okay. Have you ever visited a CD's blog? Is that worth it?
A copywriter's blog.
Or sorry, copywriter. Is it worth it for my portfolio? Depends on the blog. It's like, do people like read it? Like, is it popular? I mean, if it has traction.
Yeah, I mean, I guess, yeah. Obviously, that's a different story. If it's a big blog, that always looks good. I don't know. I used to have a link to my Tumblr for a little bit because I wrote for The Onion for like a very short minute, and I would put headlines that I didn't choose on my Tumblr. And I actually got like a decent amount of views on that. But
it depends on what it is.
Yeah.
I'd have to see it.
I don't
Send
know.
it my way.
I can't imagine that I got a job based off
No.
of that. I don't think anyone cared that much about it. I don't know, but
It's
that's
kind of a nice thing to have, though, because I mean, and
Yeah.
I don't love agencies that do this, but they'll sometimes ask after they see your portfolio and interview with you, they'll ask you for some long format writing samples. So it's just another way of showing them that you
That's true.
can write, I guess. So maybe you kind of keep it in your back pocket for situations like that too.
Yeah. Yeah, that's why I like the idea on a site to have a bunch of like social links somewhere else. So
So if they feel like
yeah,
digging
exactly.
around.
And that's why I kind of like having just a bunch of stuff. And if they want to check it out for whatever reason, if like the recruiter's insanely bored and they want to click on your dumb blog and read it, I mean, then great. I mean, but I don't know, they just like, I don't know, I think they typically don't. They just spend such little time on your portfolios that they don't really care about stuff like that. They see it as very unimportant. But I could see, like somewhere down the process as you're interviewing and, people who you're going to work with on a daily basis, like your boss, your CD, people like that, they might check some stuff like that out maybe.
Yeah.
Just to kind of, because it's nice to get a sense of, I've actually gotten a job based off my Instagram. That's how I got hired at OKRP.
What do they look
The CCO, Matt Reinhardt, awesome guy. He looked at my Instagram. He's like, I love your Instagram. I love your Instagram. Love your Instagram.
Oh,
But that
I'm
was
not
like,
surprised.
that was like
forever.
forever. That was like forever ago.
No, that's a thing.
So I mean, it could happen if it's really. I think it comes back to integrity. We were talking about this earlier. If it's really good and it's for the right reasons and it really represents you as a creative and it shows off a really good skill you have, then throw like a link on there. And hope for the best.
Instagram is easy because it is like a short, snippet. Like, I think it's cool when people do like a themed Instagram that isn't just about like just like their pictures of their dogs and stuff like that. But that's fine too, because again, like either if it's not themed, they'll just at least get to see like what you're like and what you're into and stuff like that. But yeah, they're probably not going to read like a whole like thing.
No.
That's the whole point of putting together a portfolio.
No one has time.
Next question. Any more?
No next
Oh
question.
my God, we're done. Are we done?
Oh, we're done. Oh, is this it?
Well, let's see. Does anybody have anything else for us? Did we miss anything?
Well, Jessica, what was your website question? Where are the best portfolio? I'm almost positive she means like Squarespace.
I really only suggest using Squarespace.
Yeah, I do
It's
too.
really easy to learn. It seems a little bit confusing at first, but once you kind of dive in there, it's pretty manageable, especially just for showing work, work or not doing anything too wild. There are
because like I've seen like, have you ever seen like a Wix?
Yeah, I don't like Wix.
Ooh, I know. It just looks like
It's like junk.
looks cheap. It does.
And
There's
they're
something
expecting
about
you
it.
to like,
Yeah, because it's got like the banner up
And
top. So like,
don't-
this is a Wix site.
and don't, I mean, I think looking at work, looking at creative directors' portfolios for inspiration is great, but their stuff is usually pretty outdated as far as like what it's hosted on, and they don't. So I wouldn't use that as inspiration. I would.
Cargo Collective.
Yeah, no cargo. I think I really just I wouldn't overthink it. I think Squarespace works and it's cheap and
Yeah.
I like it. And there's a couple of good templates. I think Avenue is like the one that you always see, which is like the blocks. That one's fine. There's a few others. You can
I don't
share
know
them.
if I could name a single
Avenue
template
is
off
one.
the top of my head.
I can
wow,
share.
that's impressive.
I can share more later. I'll send them out if you guys care about it. But as far as resources to actually help you concept and stuff, I don't know. You'd have to Get a brief. You'd have to. How would that even work?
I don't know. I don't think that's what she's asking.
So you think it's just a Squarespace?
I think so. Yeah, I would say Squarespace. No Wix. Oh, it looks so cheap. I
Have
wouldn't
you guys
do
ever
it.
used Marco Polo? It kind of reminds me. So if you're
What?
talking to somebody, they have to listen to your entire story before they can comment.
Yeah.
And if we're not answering the question properly, we're wasting everybody's time because they can't stop us. But they could maybe say like, "Stop." The
Yeah.
comment.
That's the next one. Jessica's gonna be like, "Stop talking." Well, okay. Well, do we want to wrap it up then? How much time?
Yeah, thank you. This was fun. Maybe we'll do
Yeah.
another one.
No, I'd love to do this anytime. I'm always happy to sit and
Yeah, and
Talk.
I think that Jesse and I are gonna contribute our time. So we'll be on the mentors page of Make Ads With Me. So if you have any questions outside of this, need help with anything, we're happy to help.
always happy to help. This is
Shoot
fun.
us an email.
We like to sit and talk about ads.
All right, guys. Sayonara.
Okay.
How do you end it? Okay.
Bye, everybody.